All right, y'all. What's going on? Welcome back to another Jab podcast. It's episode 83. I'm Combo Breaker 99.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Boxing P.
We got another holiday among us, right, P? Man, I mean, damn, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm honestly ready to get it out the way. I ain't trying to be no Grinch, but that's just my style, man. Like, I like the family oriented part of it. Just kind of chilling with the family. But it's just that money thing that really gives it to me, man.
Oh yeah, man. It's I mean, it's definitely a lot of pressure for some people. The thing is, it just came so quick, ain't?
For
You
real.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
We did a holiday episode. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know.
So it's like we here again. But it definitely was a quick year. You know, a great year for boxing, and we just hoping 2019 can be a better one.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna say that to you. As far as this year, it closed out. Like, I think 2017 was better. I feel like this year could have been a little bit better to me. Just because we didn't get a lot of the welterweight fights we want. But I do feel like that the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, that was kind of a lifesaver
Hmm.
as far as just bringing a new energy to the game. Inside
Yeah.
and outside the ring, but also like just guys like we didn't get to see in the ring enough, like Tank.
Yeah.
Um, Again, like we didn't get guys like Errol Spence constantly taking on the best or Terrence Crawford. He
Yeah.
did win a belt though. He did. That was a highlight. Him moving up the welterweight.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget, man. I mean, we definitely had a few highlights. I
Yeah,
mean, I can agree and say it. But for me, and it's just like, I mean, the fact that we getting so much boxing now is just like
hmm
really kind of makes a difference. I mean, a few years back we wasn't getting this concentration
that's
of boxing. Then throughout the year, we had the like you say, Bud and Horn, which was a great fight to me.
hmm
Great performance. Had Kovalev getting knocked out. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? AJ fight, it wasn't the fight we wanted to see, but he was in there, and Povetkin was, that wasn't a terrible fight. You know what I mean? It's been a few things that happened this year. It was, like I said, it wasn't the best, but I was cool with it, eh? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it was a good little stay busy year.
Yeah, stay busy, yeah.
Because I
You know?
mean, between boxing and the UFC, I was always busy watching something. But I guess I'm just trying to be, a little greedy now because I'm trying to go back and now I'm trying to reanalyze all the fights. Now I'm kind of like, oh, I didn't want that fight. You know what I mean?
My man said, nah, I want more.
Yeah, I always want more.
Yeah,
just
for
being
sure,
a
man.
boxing fan. That's why I'm just saying, like, overall, I think we're in the right direction. Like, now that it's being out there more than it usually is, you got all these apps. People are going to demand these big fights now.
And to be honest, I mean, a good fight can never get old. So it's like, it could never be too much boxing, too
Never,
much
nah,
good
there's
boxing,
never, yeah, never,
never too
never.
much good boxing. So, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Same with MMA now. Like, it can never be enough. Like, as long
Yeah.
as you're making the right
Good,
fights,
good, clean
good, clean fights.
MMA and boxing. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? I ain't really into the freak show thing, but I mean, as long as we seeing guys on the top level performing and they clean, I'm down.
All day, man. Yeah, definitely, man. But since you mentioned the word clean, let's jump into this fight weekend. Jermall Charlo, his standing opponent, Matt Korobov. Willie Monroe, he ain't clean right now. So we got a new opponent stepping in. We talked a little bit about this on the stream, but I feel like I went back and looked, it was lagging a little bit, man.
Okay.
But Willie Monroe, he tested positive for a banned substance, and they said he had a high level of testosterone. So I don't know if that was like a separate thing, like a testosterone booster,
Hmm.
plus this other banned substance. But
Did they say what it was? Did they?
they didn't release it.
didn't
They
name the
just said it
substance?
was like some type of harmful substance in his system that they found traces of. So WBC, they had to go ahead and take him out. But somebody like Willie Monroe, like we said, he seemed like a likable guy. He's knowledgeable, but cut from the boxing cloth. How does that make you feel when you hear his name? You know what I mean? Like, I know he's not like the biggest star, but like somebody you expect better from.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, Ant. He's definitely not the biggest name in boxing, but he's a likable guy. Comes from boxing lineage, and it was kind of surprising. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, Ant, because like we say, he's not a big name in boxing that I would have felt like he needed the edge to do that. You know what I mean? He always, rubbed me as the type of guy who just a clean guy, man. I go out there. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But, I gave it all I had. You know what I'm saying? I gave it all I had. So it was really surprising, that Monroe, just because of his character and, not because of his stature in the game or anything like that, because of his character that, he tested positive. And like I was saying on the stream the other day too, it was kind of an eye opener, like how bad this problem really is in, combat sports, man. When you got a guy like Willie Monroe, no disrespect to him, but when you got a guy like him, feeling the temptation and the pressure to succumb to, taking that chance is just like, nobody's off the table. You know what I mean? Nobody's off the table.
Yeah, it definitely opens your eyes. Like, it can be anybody.
Anybody, man.
Anybody.
Anybody.
It don't matter who got the clean
level.
image. Yeah. But, and it's crazy, like you said, man. It's like, we getting like, it's like constantly, like, to me, 2 is too many. 1 is too many. Yeah. 1 is too many. One person getting popped. That's what I'm saying. It's like, when you got too many, we were talking about this too, USADA, VADA, all these different ways of testing. It's kind of like, is this more just a money racket, or are we really trying to clean up the sport? Because why are we trying to cut so many corners on how long, let's say, a certain type of substance can be in your system?
Absolutely.
Versus this one, they don't want it at all.
Yeah.
So some people, they might not fight for this belt, so they're going to go over here
right,
and fight for this one so they can cut corners with whatever it is they're doing.
And that's that tarnishes the sport. You know what I mean? If these guys are bringing in these outside agencies to do high level testing, then it should be the same across the board. Okay, these people might charge a little bit more, these people might charge a little bit less, but it should be the same, guidelines to the testing. It shouldn't vary from, organization to organization, but, like you say, and, money can change everything. And I'm starting to see that, money is probably starting to play a role in some of this testing. When I say money, I mean people paying people to get inside tips, people, paying people for clean samples, whatever they're doing with the money. I just feel like, it's probably being compromised somewhat at this point. And then for 2, and I wanted to bring up, a lot of guys, we like you say, it's a lot of guys getting popped now, but what about the guys that are squeaking through?
Yeah.
The guys are getting popped. That's not everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not everybody. These are the guys that, like we said, that are getting popped. You know what I'm saying?
Because imagine, like, we saying 2 or 3 are getting caught, but I'm sure there's people that are getting through.
It's people that had something that worked. Exactly. It's people that had something that worked. What Willie Monroe had didn't work, but it is the guys out there who, what they had, the people that they're working with, it worked. It masked whatever it needed to mask or cover or whatever it needed to cover.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I just try to understand what these fighters they go through, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, you getting in the ring. I know that's a lot of pressure. You got to perform on this new network. You on Fox, you fighting the interim champion, but that's still not an excuse to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like Charlo, he's going in there and hopefully he's clean,
Right.
He's going through the same things you going through, and y'all both supposed to fight, on the same level. But you want to really take this chance and cut that corner when you could hurt somebody, Well,
let me throw this analogy at you real quick, right? So, like, say you had a big test coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You study for the test. Test day arrives. You prepare for the test. You happen to look down and you have in your view the answers. What do? You prepared for the test. Mm-hmm. You did everything you were supposed to do. But if you just look a little bit to your right, you catching the view of the answer sheet. What do you do?
Well, the key word you said in there was prepared. So depending on the individual, say if it was me, I'm prepared. I went through all of this to get prepared for it the right way. I'm not really going to sit there and cheat myself, you know?
Right.
But
can you see the temptation of that? Like,
I can see the temptation.
Even though I prepared, I just want to be sure. You know what I'm saying?
I can see.
Even though I did I prepared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look over here just to make sure that, you know what I'm saying?
To make sure.
So, you know, but you kind of see where I'm going with that, though. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, let's say that same scenario, same thing, test laid out. It was test time, answers over there on the side, but you haven't prepared. So this is what Willie Monroe, his situation kind of is, because, you know, this is a big test, pressure. Oh man, I didn't study for this. I don't know. This might be my last chance. If I fail, I get held back. So he going to look at it. You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying. Even for a guy that's prepared, it's temptation.
It's still temptation. Yeah. Because like you're saying, even in my mind, it's running like, okay, I did prepare, but let me look over here.
Let me look over here just to, you know, just to make sure, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's not, you know, making an excuse for it is still, you know, unacceptable. But I just threw that out there because that can help us understand the temptation level that some of these guys are being faced with. You know, it's easy to say, oh man, you a dirtbag, you tested pot. You know what I mean? It's easy for us to say that, but when this is your bread and butter, how you take care of your family, and you are under, you know, tremendous amounts of pressure from a whole lot of people. You got fans and you got corner people, you got kids. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one person, you know.
It's not just the individual.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on people. So it's kind of hard to understand what a fighter is actually going through until you really walk through their shoes. And that's one thing, you know, even myself, I want to be careful because, you know, I'm quick to say I hate dirty fighters and stuff. And I mean, I hate to see that happening, but it still has to be, I guess, a level of understanding the levels of pressure that they are under. And I mean, it's tremendous amount of media. Like I say, you got your fan base who they cheering you on, champ, knock them out. You know, you're gonna get you know what I mean? It's a lot.
Yeah. That's why I try my best. Like I say, you know, I go in, I'm not anyway bashing them, but at the same time, you kind of have to take away some points because, you know, I'm doing what's right. I feel like if you cheat, you cheat, but I understand that pressure. And, you know, like this, like you said, the whole situation is different than a test. It's even bigger because you looking for a way to feed your family, and you don't want to put any of that at risk. So you might just have to cut a corner this time. That's what you feel like. I might not be 100%. But I got to make sure they're getting fed, so I gotta see if we can do this, you know. Right. And you got to think, if I failed twice in the past, Billy Joe, Triple G, those fights, you know, I might have to do it this one time, you know. Yeah. But it's always that. It could always be that one time. And like they said, look, the test, you look over, that's when the teacher catches.
But that's the chance. That's the chance you take because you could get caught.
Yeah,
cheating. Same way with the fight. You know, damn. I mean, I could get away with it, but I could get caught too. You know, so the teacher could, you know, catch your eyes in the reflection of the mirror and be like, "What? You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
So you know, that's the chance you take, and you know, are you willing to take that chance or not? You know, and it comes down to, I mean, it comes down to the individual, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, personally, man, yo, I know I'm fully prepared. I trained, I studied, I bust my brain open for this. I don't need that, you know, but it's not a lot of people in the world like that though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because you got to wonder too, like, you know, making sure you are prepared and everything, like, and you knew you could just inject this and do that. It would be kind of like that blue balls thing, because you'd be like, I didn't really get the release, you know. It was this doing the work, but everything else I prepared for didn't do it, you know. Yeah. So when you think of it that way, it's like, oh shit, everybody can do this, you know.
And that's, you know, what's like my disdain for dirty fighters, because like I say, any athlete, we think that they're doing things that we can't do. So when we find out that, you know, you're taking something to do these, you know, super things, it kind of takes it away from us, because we feel like, yo, well, I could have, you know, did that, or this big guy from the hood could have did that. You know what I mean?
Because, you know, like we all thinking it's just pure dedication, pure, you know,
hard work,
a little bit of crazy, you know, something in you that just, that drive that makes you want to do it. But then you got something else but helping you that way, it makes it say, yeah, I could have did that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It takes away the fan aspect of it to me, you know what I mean? You are a fan, a fanatic, because these people are doing things that, you know, compel you in a way and intrigue you in a way and entertain you in a way that, you know, you're willing to pay money for it. I mean, think about it. The average fan is broke, man. Fans are not known to be rich. Yeah. We at the bottom of the feeding pole, but we spend the money on this. You know what I mean?
People putting away money to get to these fights. You know what I mean? You got them putting away saying, I might do a little overtime so I can get this ticket to see this person I want to, you know,
so I can go to a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, in that aspect, the fighters should feel like, damn, I owe this man to be clean. I owe the fan, you know, because this man's a blue collar guy. He's working. He done saved up the last 6 months just to fly out to Vegas and see me fight, man. That should hold some type of weight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel it do. That's why, like, you may not know each one of your fans individually, you know, but at the same time, as a whole, they make you.
Yeah.
So whenever they find out you cheating, it's just like, oh, you know, let's throw that shit out. You know?
Yeah. It's a hurting feeling, you know. Yeah. The fighter might not, man, oh, why y'all ain't that big? It's a hurting feeling, though. They might can't understand it, you know what I mean? Being on that side of the fence, but you know,
because me, like I said, like I'm not the diehard Willie Monroe fan, but then when somebody like this do that, it make you look at everybody else.
It got to, man.
You start trying to figure out, oh, he might have did it. He might have did it too.
It got to, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, you know, it's not like people don't be giving. It's not like bigger names haven't been popped, but you know, when this all types of levels getting popped, it's just nobody is really off the table until we have a testing protocol that's 99.9%. You know what I mean?
On the stream, you mentioned it. What do you think is the best testing that they should have for boxers? I think it's the best one. You go ahead and say it, though.
What agency?
Yeah.
I think VADA.
Think so?
I think VADA.
Think so?
You know what I'm saying? Because VADA, the guidelines are pretty clean cut and clear. It's not, you know, like one of the other agencies, you know, it's a little deviation, and you know, like the Billy Joe Saunders thing. This, okay, you can take this nasal inhaler, you know, which is a steroid, I guess, you know, and it's cool, you know. So I think, in my personal opinion, right now, VADA is one of the better ones, but you know, it's all run by man, and it's anybody can be compromised. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like they could set everything up nice and it'd be out on the table, but the minute we got a big star coming in,
and anything can be compromised. Yeah, anything can be compromised, and I mean,
it's all in a matter of doing. You know what I mean?
All a matter
like
of doing,
every organization might be a big, you know, big help, but that's only if you're going by the guideline that you made. You know what I mean? You know, it's just like, you know, you like we're saying, same thing with cutting corners. Every time something might pressure you to do it, then you might not want to go by the right way, you know. You in it as an anti-doping agency, so you think, okay, it's going to be a clean sport all the way around, but why we still got people getting popped?
You know what I mean? And think about it. Since they have implemented, you know, the Olympic drug testing more, you know, frequently. I mean, it's people getting popped. I mean, you would think that people say, "Oh shit, well this is coming. We need to, you know, pull." But nah. So what does that say about the mentality of the fighters today? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, a smart guy would say that's like, oh, well, I see the police coming. Oh man, I ain't coming out today. I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna go out one time today instead of 5 times. You know, it's like people going harder with it now.
They're going harder, even though there's like we said,
you know, either they going harder or everybody's dirty. Either they're going harder or everybody's dirty.
That's the big part, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Dirty, yeah, because like,
what can it be?
Even when we look at the UFC, you know, like we get people popped over there. Like, what was it? Was it Nate Diaz said it? You know, everybody's on steroids. You know, maybe just saying that, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Like, it don't make sense to be the other way. It don't make sense to be, oh, they just we using more now. It makes sense that everybody was already using, and now we just is coming to the surface. Because if you know more stringent, restrictions are coming, you're not going to do it more. That's just not even common sense.
Logical, man.
Yeah, it's not logical.
Yeah.
The more logical explanation would be that that's how bad the problem is, and it's a lot of people out here, dirty. I mean, and despite what you want to say, I still kind of got to give it to Floyd Mayweather being the forerunner, at least bring this to the table. Is he 100% legit in what he, who knows? But at least he did, bring it to the table. You know what I'm saying? And really make us look at this and say, yo, this is a problem. When Floyd Mayweather said, yo, I'm not fighting him. I don't think he clean. That was a bold statement.
Yeah.
In the boxing world.
Cause he could have just said, okay, I'm not going to say anything. And he said, oh, he's dirty. I'm going to get something to, you know what I mean?
He said, oh, I tip the tail. Yeah, he dirty, I'm dirty. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that, Vada, as far as the protocol is the best, but I'm like saying, you got to follow that shit.
You got to follow it.
You got to follow it, man.
And we all have heard stories of all of them being compromised, man. All of them. We've heard certain fighters paying them certain amounts that wasn't required to be paid. So why is a fighter paying, these agencies big amounts of money if it only costs us? I mean, a lot of different stuff. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, it's still being run by man, and man can be compromised
all day, man. And that's the thing, man. Like, same with, like I always tell you, it's like a church, man. It's like a religion, man. Like certain types of churches, they're supposed to be all for one God, but each one of them gonna have their little differences. So this person can go to this one and go to that one, but they all feel like, oh, I want to cut this corner and be this way. I'm gonna be at this church, but
this church allows fornication. I'm going over there.
Fornication on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Not every day.
It is. And people just got to be true to themselves, man. If that's what you want to do, then just say, hey, man, I'm going to that church. They let you fornicate 3 times a week. I'm cool with it. Exactly. It be that. Don't say, oh, I'm. Just be who you are, man.
Right. But looking at not Billy Joe, another scumbag. No, I'm just Willie Monroe, man. What do you think, man? How long you think they should ban him, man, for this?
I mean, like I was saying on the live stream, man, you got to do what you got to do the same thing you've done for other people.
Yeah.
You got to do the same thing you've done for other people. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Why is it different punishments for different fighters? I mean, if you're dirty, I don't care what steroids you're on. If you got anything that's in your system, it should be a flat out sentence. It shouldn't be, oh, well, this was only this chemical, so it's not that bad, so we only gave him. What the hell is that, eh? What the hell is that?
Exactly.
If you got anything that ain't supposed to be in there, you should have a flat out sentence, whatever it is, 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Exactly.
But let every fighter who tests positive have that same penalty. It's hard for me to say what Willie Monroe should get, because I just watched Canelo
and Billy Joe.
I just watched Billy Joe get a slap on the wrist. It's hard for me to say. I watched, Ortiz kind of get a slap on the wrist. You know what I mean? So
and that's what's hard for me to say. Like with Willie Monroe, why should he be the example all of a sudden?
Why should you break a man who hasn't been getting big paydays?
Who hasn't been getting a big payday?
You know what I'm saying?
Who didn't have a belt and didn't know. How many people were really, rooting for him.
I mean, shit. I understand why Willie Monroe was taking those chances. You know what I'm saying?
His situation a little bit more, because he's like, this might be my last go round.
This might be the last big check I get to feed my family.
But somebody like Canelo, it's like, I'm here already,
I'm here already. Dude.
I'm already Superman.
If I don't fight another day, I'm financially secure.
I'm secure.
You know what I mean?
And I'm already supposed to be this big pound for pound guy. Why am I needing something extra to damn near kill somebody? You know what I mean? But with Willie Monroe, like we said, this might be his last go round. But I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying, like, as a man, that's probably what his mindset was.
Yeah. I mean, and then think about it. I mean, shit. I don't know how to break it down, because you can think about it like this too. Canelo can afford 2 years off.
Exactly.
Willie Monroe, he can't necessarily afford 2 years off. You know what I mean? So how do you regulate that? You know what I mean? You gave Canelo a short sentence, like he was hurting for the money he had. You know what I mean? No, because money was being generated. People was making money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Willie Monroe, Ain't nobody making money.
Ain't nobody making.
Making
See,
money.
whenever Canelo had popped that time, it was like, oh shit, you know, we're gonna lose money in hotels, we're gonna lose money
Everywhere.
on TV, paper, everything.
Absolutely.
So there was like 6 months, just a quick fight turnaround. We got to get him back in there. Willie Monroe was like, you might be the one we make an example
man,
of.
You might be banned for life, man.
Life. You might be the 2-year guy.
Yeah, they might do something crazy to him. You know what I'm saying? Which would be crazy. But you know, it's hard for me to say what should he get because we don't have a standard to go by.
Right. But my opinion on that is like we're saying, going back to the test for everybody, whether you got caught at the beginning of the test or at the end of it, you should get a 0. Just like in school, you know what I mean? Like if you were cheating, you get a 0.
Right.
Just because you made it all, you just started, you got the first answer, you cheated, still a 0.
0, yeah.
And that's down the line for everybody. That's what it should be. But in his situation, it's like, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm like, what seems fair now? Because Billy Joe, he was supposed to fight in October, but he already back this fight weekend too, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, where do we go with it? Where do we start? Who do we start with? You know?
Like I say, it's no set precedent that's been stuck by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, guys have been suspended before, but then it just started getting crazy in the last few years. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, once, two, you know, pushing it, man. That's too many.
And the thing about it is, I always remember it being like a year or two, something like that. Because think about it, that makes somebody think. Mm-hmm. If I can't make no money in a year or two, that makes me think 6 months ain't nothing. 6 months, you might not fight for 6 months.
And and that's why, like I'm saying, it's like one fighter, it's 2 fighters, it's 3 fighters, because they know it's not that big anymore. You know, they're getting the feeling like, 6 months, that's just a regular time off from a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you give them like the 2-year ban,
that'll make people think. You know, like I say, Canelo can take a 2-year hit, but Willie Monroe can't take a 2-year hit. Billy Joe Saunders probably can't take a 2-year hit. There's a lot of guys can't take a 2-year hit. I mean, and not just financially. I mean, if you 33 and you got a 2-year ban and you 35, them years are valuable in the boxing world.
Yeah. But real quick, that brought up something to me because they actually laid the law down in the UFC. Like, what do they use VADA? They use VADA in the UFC, right?
I'm not sure.
I thought
it was USADA, but I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll keep that part. But as far as somebody getting popped, like there was one girl fighter who got popped. They banned her for 2 years. But in another situation, you had another one. You know, she tested positive for marijuana and they banned her for 9 months. You know what I mean? So they all kind of laying the law down.
Or like you say, Nick Diaz, the 5 year for weed.
5 years for weed.
5 years for weed. Come on, man. What, how are you coming up with these things? I mean, marijuana ain't making you hurt nobody,
If
dog.
anything, he might be the victim in it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you can't eat for
loss.
5 years. Come on, man. That's just, you know, and I'm just saying, that's where like all the frustration with kind of the Olympic drug testing is coming in, because I mean it's all over the place right now. So I mean, honestly speaking, I don't know how effective it is, and at this point it's just kind of looking like another, like you say, another money grab. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it does, man. It's just like every time we come up with something, it's gonna, in our eyes or in the fans' eyes, the blind fans' eyes, it's gonna be like, oh, they care, you know. Mm-hmm. But then after that, when it come down to the money, you're gonna be like, oh shit, why didn't you give him the time that he deserved, you know? But I think it's a USADA.
USADA,
yeah. But for Charlo, man, his next opponent, his stand-in opponent, like I told you, we were talking about it, I don't really see him being too much of a danger.
Yeah.
You know, maybe style-wise, maybe power-wise, but I don't really think he's going to pose like a big threat. Like, for a fighter, what do you think it's like? Let's look at this angle. Like, how do you think it is for a fighter who's already on the card, maybe facing the tune-up because they were inactive, but then they got to step in against a top contender, an interim champion? How do you think they feel, man?
It could be, I think it could be looked at 2 ways. It could be looked at in a good way, or it could be looked at as maybe a little bit of anxiety or pressure. But, you know, to go from, you know, the undercard to the main event or the co-main event, the main event. Mm-hmm. that could change your career. You know, if you did that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you did that and pulled off the upset, it could be great. And if you can visualize that and see that and say, yo, I can beat him, I can do this, it's great. But if you like, oh, I don't know, I was on the C, now I'm going to A. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. I mean, if I was a fighter, I say shit, let balls to the walls and go for the gusto. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I could probably see different people. You know, the Charlos, they talk so big, they have intimidated some people out there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially like I try to put myself in the guy Matt's shoes because okay, you were just getting on the card to get another Stay Busy fight because, like I said, 2017 you haven't fought, and then you only fought once 9 months ago, and then after that you get that fight on this card, which is a good card to be on, especially after your inactivity. But they say Willie Monroe had to pull out. You want to step in, you know what I mean? You got to wonder if he's feeling like your first reaction probably would be you know. You be like, I'll take it. Yeah. But then after that, when you hang up, you be like, oh shit, what do I do? You know, it could go either way. You might feel like, oh man, maybe I bit off more than I could chew, but it can be a blessing.
It could be a blessing.
Like, even if you don't come to win, fight your heart out, and then, you know, that'll make your stock rise. So
and it's like, to me, like, I'm just a big believer in, you know, talking things into fruition and making things happen. If he can look at the situation and say, yo, I went from the undercard to the main. That's power. That don't happen every day. If I can capitalize on this situation, whatever it takes, whatever it takes, this can be, because those opportunities that's not going to happen again in your career, Matt. You're not going to go from the undercard to fighting a guy like a Charlo, you know, a guy who's loud. He's got it. You know, these guys are making a name for themselves in the game right now. It's kind of like a golden opportunity, and he has to just dig deep and capitalize on it. Man. It's no other way to look at it, because you go in there and get washed, it's pointless. You know what I'm saying? You getting a check, but that's it.
Right.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? You might not, like you say, he only fought one time in 2017. If you go in here and get washed, you might not fight none in 2019.
Yeah, because that'll put you
know
back
what I'm
off
saying?
the mark.
Nobody's gonna be interested. You got washed. So I'm just saying, I mean, these guys, even if you don't have like the boxing acumen, skill wise, I mean, it's heart, it's courage, it's different things to me that, you know, we talked about before, and leveling up, they can take you to another chamber. I mean, we know the Charlo can box, but where's his heart at? Where's his tenacity? Where's his, you know, can he dig deep? You know, I mean, it's a lot of different factors that come into play that determine the outcome of a fight.
Yeah. And that's like what you just said. I was just like, to me, that's a beautiful thing about boxing, because it's just like you said, like, we know he can do such and such. So if this is my first time facing a guy like him, I gotta expose those things that we not sure he got.
We not sure. I mean,
like, if I know he got a good jab, but I don't know how he can take a punch, I gotta be dirty. I gotta get in there and rock him. You know, rock him right up top.
By any means necessary, dude. It's a million ways to win a fight, and I just feel like, you know, Matt is kind of in a beautiful position if he can gust together and pull with, you know, if he can pull it all together and understand what's in front of him right now. Because I mean, dude, this probably be the biggest the upset of the year if he could do something like this.
If he was able to pull it off.
You can shut up one of the loudest mouths in boxing. That'd be crazy.
And I say, now that I'm looking at his stats, I have to say that he's 35. This is definitely a time you don't say no. You know what I mean? Now, if you were a young kid coming up, like when they did Munguia, they tried to put him in there with Triple G. That's you say no.
We understand.
We got to move you, but you 35, you 28-1. You already been on HBO before. You lost to Andy Lee. You already kind of got them stats where I've been here, done that. This is another blessing to you.
It's another blessing.
Like, you didn't necessarily fight your way up to it, but this is a guy that they know he has the experience and stats where we could put him in there.
And think about it. You can say, been here, done that. Charlo can't say that. He's there now. He ain't been there. Right. He's there now. So, Matt, that's what I'm saying. You got to dig deep. You got to dig in areas that you might, in toolboxes you might not have been in for a long time, because it's jewels in there. It's some good tools in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Charlo's still a young kid. He's still, I wouldn't say green, but green as far as experience. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the kid Matt, he's been there, done that before. He's been, you know, on, like you said, HBO before, and I mean, you say he's 28-1, so he's only lost one fight or whatever. So I mean, this is the time. He's 35. It's now or never.
Yeah.
You know, it's now or never. He's not. This opportunity is never happening again.
It's not, especially, you know, for him. You know,
for
for
him.
that individual. That's why I say, like, it all depends on where your career is at. Sometimes you got to go for it, man.
Yeah, you got to
go for it.
know?
That's why I say, for him, move up and take it. Because
it's almost like, you know, it's a blessing that something like that happened, because, you know, that don't happen.
They could have just canceled the whole card.
That don't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've never really seen them move a guy from the undercard to the main event. I see
very rarely.
You know
very rarely. Yeah.
So it's something that I think he needs to really dig deep and try to capitalize on by any means necessary. Like you say, you know, did some dirty tests, whatever you need to do, because this could really change the trajectory of your, you know, boxing career. Even though you're at the end of it, you know, at least it can maybe solidify another 1 or 2 big paydays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I have to say, he has to use some of the things to his advantage. Like, I think the tricky, looking at the stats, like the trickiest thing about Willie Monroe is Charlo's opponent was probably making the fight ugly as a boxing match. You know, like, I could see him kind of making that tricky as far as not being an easy target for Charlo to home in on and knock out.
Willie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking at somebody like this guy Korobov, Matt Korobov, I think that he kind of poses a size threat for Charlo. You know, he's fought as high as 168, 175, man.
Oh, okay.
So 5'11", you know. So he's a good sized guy, middleweight. So my thing is for him to say, hey, I got to make this ugly. You know, I got to put that size on him. You know, he's known as a boxer with punching power, but I got to make it dirty. You know, I got to be the dog, because it's my last go round.
Right.
I can't stand to box with this guy, because I might not have the legs for it, because, you know, 35 and fought once this year, you know.
Right.
So that's what he has to do. For Charlo, you know, to me, he just got to be him and, you know, make that same statement that he did against Centeno, right?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Like for Charlo, he just got to go out there and do what he always does. You know, I mean, everything kind of lies on what is Matt willing to bring to the table, Ant?
Yeah, is he willing to upset?
Yeah, is he willing to just get a paycheck and go home? Was he willing to say, yo, I could change my career right here? You know what I'm saying? So that remains to be seen. We don't know what's really going through his head or whatever, but I think he's kind of in a great position right now. You know what I'm saying? To change the course of his, change his legacy, you know, change the course of history, change a lot of things, you know, for himself and boxing.
Okay, question, man. Like, since we were still on late replacement topics, like, do you think there's ever a time some of these guys, they go ahead and just go for the fight and just take it because of the check, because they kind of scared of what comes after? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they were to cause the upset, like, do you think they would feel like there's backlash, or do you just feel like they would be scared to think that I could, you know, I'm gonna have to perform at a higher level? Do you think they might not want to do that sometime? Like, say if I was to go in against Charlo and I knew I could knock him out, you know, I did knock him out, but then I was scared of what was to come after.
What comes after, because it really only gets like
bigger and harder.
Bigger and harder after something like that. I mean, to me, and if you a guy like Matt at 35, yeah, that's something you might consider. Like, yo, I mean, if I get through him, it ain't gonna be nothing but harder after that, you know. But a young guy, that shouldn't even cross your mind. You know what I mean? Young guy, you should be like, yo, that's what I'm here for. But you know, a guy like Matt, he got to consider something like that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I mean, I'm looking for 1 or 2 more fights. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because I asked that because we seen it through performances sometime. Like, you got a late replacement, they come in and it's just like, damn, they ain't do nothing. You know, I'd be like, they must just
nothing.
You know, but then sometimes you do got a guy that'll upset somebody, you
Yeah.
know, and then you be like, oh, they wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when the person loses, sometimes I say, oh, they might didn't want to take that chance to either get the backlash of beating their guy, beating the favorite sometimes.
I mean,
you know?
yeah, and that's possible, man. I mean, that definitely could be something that, you know, factors into a fighter's psyche. I would hate to believe that a guy would know he could beat a guy and not want to do it because of something like that. But I mean, that's real. I mean, look at Timothy Bradley. He got the bum decision and he got death threats because of that. He didn't make the decision. So I'm just saying, you know, some people, you know, maybe looking ahead at those things and saying like, yo, I don't really want no parts of that. But I see that hard to do though. Right? You know, fighters are competitive. They're in it for the glory, blood, sweat, and tears, the guts. It's hard for me to see a fighter say, oh man, no man, I can beat him, but I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
it would take a lot.
It would take a lot to do that because
yeah.
you know, fighting is ego too, pride. Like, you know, you can whip somebody, you gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, now we have seen guys take it easy on guys. I know I can beat this guy. You know, I carried him. I didn't go. I let up on a guy. You know, that's different. But to lose a fight that you know you could have won, that's asking a lot.
You wouldn't want to let nobody know that.
Yeah, that's asking a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I can't say that it's never happened. That I mean, back in the day, if the mob said, "Hey, you win this fight, we're gonna break your fucking legs," guess what? You lost that fight. I believe that wholeheartedly, without a doubt, that happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the situation I was kind of hitting that, but I was like, you don't really hear that too much now.
Yeah, nowadays, but you know, back when, that shit was real. Yeah, I mean, okay.
It's like, you just the body. You know what I mean? You try to win, you gonna wind up miss. But real quick, call who you think on this one, man? Charlo or Matt Korobov? I was gonna say mine first. I said,
no, we over here tripping or whatever. I'm gonna say, you know, anytime a fighter gets into the ring, we gotta respect him and give him a shot. We you never know what's gonna happen. Matt, you know, he does have a few accolades. I mean, just as far as being a vet, being on HB, like you say, being there, been there, done that before. I mean, he's not just a cab driver, tomato can, whatever, you know, you may want to, you know, call those type of guys. But I kind of don't really see nothing different from, you know, I don't see this derailing the Charlo train right now. You know, I mean, if it did, it would surprise me. But I mean, these guys, they feeling themselves.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum. Both brothers on the card. You know, it's just lit right now for them. So, and then you know how they feed off each other. Yeah. You know, one of them get a knockout.
The other one wants to do better.
The other one wants to do that. So,
right.
I don't know if Matt can dig deep and do this, man. It would be very interesting if he could, but I don't know. It's a lot of momentum with the Charlos right now, and I see a guy like Matt probably wind up getting stopped at I'm gonna say inside 11 rounds.
Inside 11, okay.
Inside 11 rounds, man. If not quicker, you know.
Yeah, to avoid that little laugh then, man. Like, that's why I held it out a little bit longer, because after the last part I said, I was going to say, with that being said, I think Charlo going to stop him like 5.
Oh, 5?
You know?
Okay.
No, but that is my pick, but I was trying to avoid making it sound funny.
Well, you still almost bust out laughing. He just comes, so who you guys, really?
Yeah, everything we talked about is stuff he has to do. You know what I mean? That's stuff that he has to do. We're not him. We're not in his shoes. That's why we're just saying, like, as a late replacement, if you really feeling it and this is your last chance, you got to go for it. You know?
I mean, because this is like a lottery ticket for him, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if he can.
But you got to see it that way.
Yeah, you got to see it that way. You have
to
visualize and, you know, see it that way and execute it. You know what I mean? And if you don't visualize it, I don't see executing it. So, I mean, I don't know where his head is at, but it is a lottery ticket for him, man.
So for me, just looking at the, like we said, the lights, the big show, you got two brothers fighting on the same card, you know, and just that momentum that Jermall is on right now. And looking at some technical things too, you know, I saw like how Andy Lee cracked him with that right hand. And, you know, he had too much heart to go down. He would stop. You know?
So Andy Lee stopped him with the right because he known for the left hook, right?
Yeah, he was, you know, southpaw, but he caught him with the right hook because like they were exchanging. And he hit Andy Lee, but Andy Lee caught him at the end of the exchange with his right hook.
Okay.
And, you know.
But is he known for, I thought he had a left hand.
He got a left hand. He's southpaw.
Okay.
You know, but it was just that exchange they were in, and it was such a short punch that he didn't even see, you know. He was ducking the left, and then he caught that. So when he got caught, you know, he put him on Queer Street, and the ref, you know, let him take a few more shots, but he didn't just take a knee, so he got stopped. But I see the power. It was
a good stoppage?
Good stoppage. It was a good stoppage, man. But I see somebody like Charlo's power being, you know, even a little bit more devastating, you know.
Yeah.
And his right, like if he's able to home in on it, and like I said, his defense ain't really gonna be like Willie Monroe moving around too much. I think he might catch him in like the 5th or 6th round, man.
Yeah. You put Charlo's power with a slick boxing style, it probably ain't gonna last too long. You know, because Andy Lee, I mean, he ain't, you know what I mean.
Andy Lee, he was. Man,
I remember when he was on the cusp of coming up, and
I do too.
You know, they had some what's the name, and then he, you know, went down. He came back. I mean, he ain't a bum by no means, you know, but he didn't live up to the hype.
He didn't live up to the hype, man. Like I think, you know, I won't say he didn't get moved right because Manuel Stewart used to train him, but I think it was just some moves he didn't make himself. Like he didn't commit. So he would get in too many firefights and get knocked out.
And wasn't capable of being in firefights, you know what I mean? He had the left hook, you know, whatever, but he wasn't no slugger or brawler.
He was
like
so
that.
tall and long. Like he should have been like a Tommy Hearns type fighter, boxing from the outside.
Exactly.
But he'd be up in the exchange and that long neck would get, you know, snapped. So I just feel like when you get somebody like Andy Lee cracking you like that, I think somebody like Charles Power gonna be a little bit more.
That's why I say, you know, a guy with a slicker style, he fainting and doing different things and angles and unleashing that power. It could be a short night
for real. Yeah. Know? And looking at the co-main event real quick, Jermell Charlo fighting his brother fighting Tony Harrison. I told you Tony Harrison. I think he's okay, but I don't really see this as like a big threat for Charlo either, man. You know, he's like 6'1". You know, he beat Ishai Smith. You know, he's beat some guys in the junior middleweight division, but it would be crazy. I don't see the fight being like a knockout though. Okay. I don't see him posing like a big power threat to Jermell, but it could be a decision, man. I think it could be a decision. If Jermell can't catch him early, just because he's kind of tall and long and like the box, I think that he could kind of draw the fight out. Not saying that, you know, he got a good chin or anything too, man. Anything can happen because I've seen him go down before. But, you know, Jermell, like looking at his last fight against Austin Trout. Yeah. You know, he kind of drew that fight out. Yeah. And kind of went too hard for a knockout and didn't get it. And then being on this big main event, he might be trying to look for one here.
Yeah. I mean, one of my concerns is that this was the best guy that they could find for Jermell. I mean, I'm not really that familiar with the Harrison guy or whatever, but it's just like, I mean, you got the two of the most vocal guys in boxing, and they're fighting two names that most people aren't familiar with. You know, including Willie Monroe.
Right.
But like I say, I'm not too familiar with Harrison, so I mean, like I say, I'm gonna just ride with the wave, because the wave this is a Charlo's card, and you know, this is a showcase for them to look good. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm figuring, you know, Jermell was gonna pull out, you know, a victory too or whatever. But I do think they're gonna be feeding off each other's fights, and you know, if one does good, that motivates the other one to do, like you say, just as good or better. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see, you know, what happens. And so
Yeah, hopefully.
Jermall is the main event.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it does lead to something bigger because, I mean, yeah, this being the first card on Fox, I'm hoping that's their mindset that they're not trying to waste a big name yet. You know what I mean? Because if Jermell gets past Harrison, you know, he looking to fight Hurd, so you know that's going to be the biggest fight. You know, I mean, from here, that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of, you know, fighting New Year too, we got Jaime Munguia, he coming back in January. You know, so I mean, like, you know, he go back and forth. He could fight either one of them. So you know,
I mean, I'm just saying that it's good fights out there. That's the thing. It's good fights out there. Are we seeing all good fights? I mean, yeah, that's, you know, of course not. But it is good fights out there. So it's like, you know, we just need to stay diligent and, you know, work through this process of getting these guys in the ring. And I want to say one thing real quick about, you know, the Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua thing, because everybody's, it was a great fight, or this was a robbery.
Deontay Wilder, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. You know, everybody was, you know, it did great pay-per-view numbers. You know, a lot of people thought it was a great fight. Some people thought it was a robbery. Some people thought it was a slow count. Some people thought Tyson Fury, you know, was knocked out. But it definitely sparked a lot of boxing conversations or whatever. But the main thing I want to say about that fight, man, is people had to realize is it started with two guys having the courage to get into the ring to fight. That's like the problem that we like having. Guys don't want to get in the ring and face each other. So, you know, we had to take our hats off to them, you know, again, for just having the balls to get in there and face each other, because it's not easy as you would think it is to get in the ring and you know, I mean, it is easy. All you got to do is commit. But I'm just saying, to get guys to commit is not easy.
Well, I mean, when that fight happened, as quick as it happened, it made me feel good, because it was like, it took me back, you know what I mean? When a guy was just like, hey, the money was discussed, you know, behind closed doors like it's supposed to be. It was just made. It was just, like, whenever we heard Tyson Fury had, you know, came back against that one guy in June and he fought September, his next word was, I want Wilder next. Right. And then Wilder was like, okay, I'll fight him in December. Boom, it was done.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, this fight did a lot for the you know, the sport of boxing, because it set the tone for a lot of things. I mean, these guys didn't have to. They could have fought other opponents, safer opponents, and you know,
could have drew it out.
They could have did a lot of things. But the fact that they were willing to get into the ring, being heavyweights, the, you know, top drawer in boxing, and face each other, is putting other fighters on notice. Like, yo, this what y'all got to do.
Yeah.
You know, we heavyweights, we don't have to do this. You know, this is what y'all have to do. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I just think that was a good look for, you know, the heavies to get in there and create such a entertaining fight.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, whether you love him or hate him, y'all got to respect Wilder for making these choices too. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's just so bent up on, you know, seeing him this way. Oh, he's not the best boxer, but he's a fighter. You know, he's a fighter, and like, you got to look at every move he made this year. Like, if we had to think, you know, who's a candidate for fighter of the year, it might have to be him. You know,
absolutely. And when you got 41 fights and 40 knockouts, who cares if you can box or not? You doing something.
You doing something.
You doing something, dude. When you got 40 knockouts and 41 fights, who cares? How can somebody say you can't box?
Everything else can go out the door because he ended them all. You know,
he ended them all.
Why go 12 rounds when you could do it in 2?
I mean, that's his gift. When you got that type of power, I mean, all you gotta do is touch somebody. You ain't got to be the best boxer. You ain't got to be Floyd Mayweather. You ain't got to do all of that stuff. You know what I mean? When you got what he's blessed with, all you got to do is land. You know what I'm saying? Through over 12 rounds, and you're gonna see a reaction. You're gonna see a reaction. I ain't saying you're gonna knock a person out instantly, but you're gonna see a reaction.
They'll feel it all the time, man.
I mean,
and I'm glad you mentioned that, man. That's a good way to close out the year and close this one out, because that's the example that we need everybody to follow. Like, we got other fighters like we say we fans of now, but you know, there's still that line they be drawing. You know, there's still that line. It's never, let's do it. It's on. You know what I mean? Right. The way they did it, it was it. You know, it was just like that. We didn't hear no money talk. I didn't hear Fury Wilder saying, "Oh, you got to talk to this guy. They talk to each other. They made the fight with each other. And that's how you make a fight.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this weekend. You know, I think, is there anything else going on after this weekend? This might be the last, like, big fight card, right?
Yeah, because I know we got Tank in February. We got to have something in January, ain't there's nothing in January.
Oh, I mean, as far as, what's the next weekend? The 29th, right?
29th. Oh, yeah, for this year? For this year, yeah. I think that's it.
Dillian White and Derek Chisora, they got a rematch.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna watch that. That's worthy.
Yeah, I watch
that first one was definitely a scrap, so it's worthy.
So, whoever wins this better fight Luis Ortiz. That's all I gotta say, man. That's why I want to see White and Ortiz, really. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Anything you want to say in closing, P?
No, man, just like I said, Ant, you know, just thankful for another year full of boxing, because it gives us stuff to talk about and keeps us, you know, moving forward with, you know, our podcast and, you know, the sport of boxing, which we're really passionate about. So, I mean, really, that's it. Just, you know, hope we can just keep the boxing going, because that gives us stuff to talk about, Ant.
Yeah. And definitely, you know, for the local fighter, give a shout out to Donnie Marshall, you know.
For sure.
And Michael Williams Jr.
For sure, you know, man. Our dogs. Yeah, shout out, man.
Because, you know, Junior, he had an electrifying year. You know, he had a roller coaster, you know.
Yeah, Junior did his thing this year. Yeah. Shout out to Junior, man. He's definitely doing some interesting things, man, in the boxing world to be 19 years old. So definitely big shout out to Michael Williams Jr., you know, and Senior. And Donnie, man.
Definitely.
My man Donnie back on the block. He just signed with, you know, Christy Martin Promotions. So we're excited about that, and we looking forward to getting him and Junior back in the lab and, you know, hear from them soon, and looking forward to seeing them back in the ring. You know, staying busy, man.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I just wish the best for both of them. You know, hope big things come, you know, for them in 2019, man.
Hey, man, let me add real quick. Always, you know, shout out to my guy Roger and Sane Day. You know, our number one fan. You know, Jab Effect, number one boxing fan. Roger, but shout out to Eric Thompson too, man. I haven't really, you know, reached out to him in a while or whatever, but I know he's always listening. So definitely big shout out to Eric, man. We still in the mix.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Good way to close out the year. I think, you know, we just getting better with it, man. You know what I mean?
I hope so, man. I'm still never. I ain't even gonna lie, man. He, man. I'm not even gonna go there, but yeah, I hope we getting better, man. I never professed to be a professional podcaster or nothing, man. I'm just, only one thing I can say 1,000% is I'm passionate about, you know, what I'm talking about, you know, but I never proclaim to be the best speaker. I ain't even really interested in that. I'm just being me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we just doing what we love to do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people being modest, but we getting better, man.
We getting better, man. Okay.
I'm in that Ali mind frame. Look, I ain't TB. I'm the greatest. Man. I'm the greatest.
Watch out,
we the greatest.
Y'all. Watch out, y'all.
Yeah, man. But that's all we got. Just make sure y'all subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and SoundCloud, and our new home on Spotify.
Oh yeah.
And you know, check us out on our social media: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure y'all subscribe, you know, to our YouTube channel. We're gonna try to start off New Year right, you know, come through there and do more little live streams, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I said, shout out to people that was coming through, you know.
Yeah.
Every now and then they stop through and say something. So,
yeah,
you know,
man, we definitely want to be more engaging with the fans and act more with the fans. So always feel free to, you know, you see us on there. Whatever. I mean, I'm new to the live stream. My man ain't trying to get me acquainted. I'm new to it, but you know, I'm trying to get with the program, y'all. So you know,
he be on that laptop on the other end working.
You know what I'm saying? Help us out. You know.
We got you, man. But yeah, man. Before we wrap it up, just so y'all know, my name is Combo Breaker 99.
It's your boy Boxing P, y'all.
Y'all have a safe holiday. Peace.
Yes, sir.